Presented by Xfinity on the BetRivers.com Flyers Radio Network.
And welcome back to the Wells Fargo Center News and Flyers postgame show. Flyers took it on the chin tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Final score of 6-2. The Leafs proving just one of those teams that when you make a mistake against a team with a high pedigree of scoring, you often pull it out of the back of your net, and Flyers pulled it out 6 times tonight.
They did. They made some mistakes against a Leafs team that, they made some mistakes of their own, but, offensively, that team was clicking on all cylinders tonight. They took advantage of just about every one. The final shots in this game were 36-35. That's a little bit misleading because the Leafs had a ton of grade A scoring chances, especially in the first few minutes of this game. There wasn't even a shot generated. But you saw from the very get-go that the Flyers may have been getting ready to have their hands full tonight, and unfortunately that ended up being the case. But again, this is a game that's going to go to the memory banks, and it's going to improve them moving forward. They're going to be looking at a lot of tape on this game, you can bet, as they move forward here, and they're going to start learning how to play against teams like this, and it's a different animal than what they faced in the last couple of weeks. So, it's still a building process, if you will. And, this is just another step in it.
Well, take this for what it is. But according to Money Puck, the Flyers actually had more expected goals in this game than the Toronto Maple Leafs did. 3.63 expected goals to 3.28.
Okay.
So I don't know what that means.
I'm not sure either. I mean, I was a little bit disappointed.
Might need to update their model.
Yeah. I was a little disappointed that they couldn't take advantage of Matt Murray looking, very porous is not the word I'm looking for. Just he was allowing a lot of rebounds. I mean, there were a lot of pucks coming off of him, and they just weren't able to get to it and put it home. Flyers also were having a wee bit of trouble hitting the net in this game. In addition to 36 shots on goal, they had 37 that didn't get there. It was a lot of them were going wide, especially there in the third period. So, again, I felt like they were pressing there. It almost seemed like this team came out and they're looking across the way and they're seeing this bonded Toronto Maple Leafs squad and maybe, just got a little bit over anxious about it more than anything. And, again, that's something you just got to play through here over the course of a season. They're going to get some chances to do it this week against some good teams.
Yeah, I think when you watch the Leafs, you go, okay, these are some of the things we need.
Yeah.
We talk about high-end talent quite a bit, and you look out there, and the Leafs maybe lack the rounded-out talent,
right?
But they have the high-end talent. They have the Austin Matthews, the John Tavares, the Mitch Marner, who I think has just been unbelievable for them this year. Really what it comes down to, can they do it in the playoffs?
Right.
But they have the high-end talent in spades, but they need to fill in some of that other. Can you have that much high-end talent and have enough money to build a roster is kind of the question that so far has been answered no.
Right.
But then again, you look at a team like Tampa, but some of those guys are on really team-friendly deals in a no-tax state, and, guys like Kucherov signed for what they signed for, and Stamkos under market value because ultimately if they stay in Tampa, they bring home more money.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different economic structure in these times around the National Hockey League. I
think the league should do something about that, to be honest with you. I think they should equal that out.
Yeah, it'd be nice if they could. I mean,
it would help Canadian teams.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
The Canadian dollar generally weaker than the U.S. dollar, and there's guys that don't want to play there because of that. So there's a lot at work there. But I think what we saw tonight. I mean, it's only one game, but I think you saw a lot of things about why the Toronto Maple Leafs struggle in the playoffs, and they struggle to kind of break out of the
first round,
bottom half of the top 10 in this league and move into the top half is because they've got all these offensive weapons. But how many mistakes did they make tonight in their own zone? And just like Coach was saying, the Flyers can make some mistakes against the Arizonas and the San Jose's of the world and outscore them and get away with it. Well, this is the next step up. Toronto can make mistakes against a team like the Flyers, especially tonight when the Flyers really weren't on their game as a whole, and they can get away with it. But they can't make these mistakes against the Tampa Bays and the Bostons and stuff in the NHL, because those pucks will, with those teams' skill, end up in the back of their net. So, that's pretty much what you saw on display here tonight, was a Toronto team that is very dangerous offensively, but in the neutral zone in their own end, they are very prone to making mistakes that a good team will put in the back of their net.
All these years in sports, I've learned how to read a box score. Yeah. Finally. All right, I finally learned something. And 41 hits for the Flyers, 17 for Toronto tells me one thing. And I know you're probably looking up the data as I say. How much more did Toronto have the puck in this game? You see a number like that, Bri? Yeah. You go, "Ooh, Toronto had the puck a ton."
and it's the one thing. That's the thing about this game that's weird. That it really felt like that. Like we talked about before we went on the air here. How did the Flyers have 36 shots in this game? It just doesn't feel like it. The puck possession numbers in this game favor the Flyers by about a minute.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, which is really really surprising to me.
This number is lying to me.
Yeah,
tonight.
It's really surprising to me. And I think I'm assuming that the discrepancy there, where you see,
who was keeping the possession numbers tonight?
Well,
Ray Charles?
It's automatic.
Oh.
It's the chip in the puck.
Well, the chip was wrong.
So it's just, again, it's a little bit strange to me.
Yeah.
The way that shook out. And I keep refreshing this just to make sure I've got the latest numbers here. But you're right. Usually, if you have 41 hits, it's because you don't have the puck.
You're chasing. Yeah.
Because you don't hit players when you don't have the puck, and so it is a little bit of a conundrum here tonight.
Yeah, that's an anomaly.
But I think it shows you really that the Flyers, when they had the puck, were maybe not necessarily in the danger areas, and Toronto was.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you got the heat map up yet or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if it showed that.
The Flyers were in the danger area.
Yeah,
they were. I mean, look at this. When you look at the scoring chances, the Flyers blob is more substantial than the Toronto blob, hence the more expected goals. Yeah, one of the storylines in this game and going forward, and I'm gonna bring this up. We're gonna take a break and we're gonna think about our response to it. Tony DeAngelo was scratched basically for the last two periods of this game. He played one shift in the second period. He never came back. So let's think about this question. Is he in the lineup tomorrow? Should he be in the lineup tomorrow? And we'll get your answer and my answer when we return. Let's take a break. It is the post-game show. Flyers go down against the Leafs 6-2. That's your final score. We're back after this on the BetRivers.com Flyers Broadcast Network.
You're listening to the Flyers post-game show.
Avenue and just out of the world. Delilah's, where body check is a way of life. Details now at delilahs.com.
Let's be real. Mopping is a hassle. You have to fill the bucket, pushing a wet, heavy mop around, then cleaning the mop when you're done so it doesn't grow bacteria. A hassle on top of a hassle. Try Swiffer WetJet. With Swiffer WetJet, you start with a fresh pad and cleaning solution every time. And when you're done, you just toss the pad. Swiffer WetJet, the faster, easier, cleaner way to clean your floors.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, starting to speak another language, like magic.
I love the Babbel's lesson because robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Now back to the Flyers postgame show.
Flyer goal scorers in this game, Nick Delaurier and Travis Connecty, but that would be it. 6-2 as the Leafs get over the Flyers. And when you look through the score in this game, Brian, you see that Tony DeAngelo, Flyers defenseman, played 7 minutes and 5 seconds of ice time on 9 shifts. The high defenseman minutes was 23-25. Sanheim 23 minutes. Ristolainen played just under 20. Sealer played 17:57, and Cam York played 22:26. That's probably a career high for him. Between DeAngelo only 7 minutes, 1 shift in the second period, and another one after. The turnover, second goal by the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first period, just kind of flipped the pass. That ended up in the back of the net, and they had a turnover in the second period in that first shift, and I didn't see another one. Is he going to be back in the lineup tomorrow?
Yeah, that's a very good question. We're seeing now after the post-game press conference, Jordan Hall tweeting out that the decision to bench DeAngelo was Tortorella's, not Brad Shaw. We were wondering that briefly. I don't know. It's very interesting. I think if you look at the grand scheme of things, if Tortorella is trying to send a message here with DeAngelo, my instinct would be that something like this would be enough. But maybe in this situation, you do go one more game tomorrow. Again, you want to be careful. DeAngelo is not Kevin Hayes, just in terms of overall makeup and everything like that. You don't want to jump on his confidence too much. You want to make sure he handles it responds the right way. And so, whether it goes tomorrow, I think it's 50-50 in my mind. I'm sure perhaps I don't know. Maybe the coaches haven't made up their mind, but there probably will be. Justin Braun probably slot into the lineup tomorrow for somebody, given the back. And who knows? Maybe it is DeAngelo. It's that's a very different of your defensive core. Braun is in and he's out. But in those 7 minutes, he had 4 giveaways. And the fourth one was apparently the one that broke the camel's back, so to speak. It did not result in a goal, but it resulted in a pretty high chance going the other way immediately. And just a little bit of I don't know. It felt like a slightly lackadaisical shift there at the start of the period. He made one step up on a guy just inside the blue line, got beat, was able to recover, but then it was. I think I saw what John Tortorella calls puck watching. Didn't
He's
see
not
that.
moving, watching the play.
Yeah, so we'll see if they decide if that was enough to snap him out of it, or if it's going to be another game.
I know he's addressing the media now. We'll get some details later, but it'll be an interesting decision because you go, we made the point to get him right back out there, or we made the point, but his game's not where we need him, and we want to try to put ourselves in a better position tomorrow.
Right.
So that's going to be interesting. I don't know if George commented on tomorrow. I doubt he did. I mean, you usually don't get much out of Torch right after a game about the next game. I think some reporters have found that out slightly the hard way. We'll see where this goes. Again, this is one of those storylines. This is all process of kind of finding out, the limits to which players are willing to push themselves and finding out what they are as we move closer and closer to the position of clarity, as you termed it. And articles are being written with the verbiage in it as we speak. So we'll see where it goes. But I think it's, one thing about this season, Bri, is I think that when Torch comes in and he's tasked with setting a new standard and seeing who's part of this and who's not, and I'm not saying that D'Angelo is not based on this, but there's going to be drama. And there's going to be storyline, and there's both of those.
Yeah, I mean, and he told everybody this was coming, and we've seen it before. It's actually probably more tempered now than it was 10 years ago when Torch was
coaching in New York. There's
fewer run-ins with the media.
There's
fewer blow-ups, things like that. But we knew that this was going to be part of all of this. That guys were going to, there were going to be some clashes. There was going to be some friction, and it's stuff that he looks at and says it's good. He likes to see some conflict going on, and that's why he's not afraid to, when the situation arises, to do things like this, because he thinks it makes for a stronger team down the road, and he's certainly got the experience to want to go with that. So it's again, I'm sure that he knows Tony D'Angelo a heck of a lot better than I do. Knows what makes him tick. Knows what kind of things to push to make him a more effective player. And so that'll all go into deciding whether this is just the one game or if it carries over. Because he's done this sort of thing to Travis Bentley and Kevin Hayes together. Then he did it to Kevin Hayes again, just him. And now D'Angelo is the latest to see this sort of thing come his way, and it's again a matter of making sure he reacts the way that they want him to, and it ends up being positive.
No question.
I think that can get out of here. Let's get Betsy on our way.
She's on some extended duty tonight. We appreciate that. With some changes to our normal routine. Let's thank Betsy, because she was fantastic as always.
Betsy on the stream tonight. She's over there.
Always smiling. I swear. I love it.
Despite working with us.
She's smiling.
She's smiling because Tim and Coates here.
So great job by Betsy. Deving, our
site engineer. Our studio engineer was Mike Vito. Mike was on highlights today. Dan Fritz was on highlights tonight. We actually get a real answer when Mike's back here doing it. For Tim Soccer, Steve Coates, Brian Smith, I'm Jason Martinez. You've been listening to Philadelphia Flyers Hockey, a 6-2 loss
against Toronto Maple Leafs. We're back tomorrow night against the Sabres, 7 o'clock, right here on the Flyers broadcast. Good night, everybody.
You're listening to the Flyers postgame show.
As an owner-operator of a small or mid-sized company, you need the support of financial advisors who understand your business, your goals, and your entrepreneurial spirit. You need HBK CPAs and consultants, the official accounting firm of